flexible ones. Thank you guys and ladies for moving. I appreciate it. Okay, so I've got these. I've got a toothbrush and I've got mesh because I'm playing with different textures and I'm demonstrating. Zach, you're making me unhappy. I already have a cold. Oh, you don't have to record now. Although you want to witness this. Sit, boo-boo, sit.
If you have to walk around,
You can, but you're distracting others. You can totally walk around as long as your eyes are here. So if you want to walk, you can. But if you're making goo-goo faces at somebody and distracting them, that's not okay. Because the attitude in the classroom is to help people, not to distract. So walk around, fine. Okay? I have my board, and I've got a banding wheel. So can you see the banding wheel in the... Okay. So Brianna, come on up here. I don't want you to fall back. On the banding wheel, can you see the tape that's on the banding wheel?
Yeah.
This is 12, 3, 6, and 9. This is going to help with my decoration. On mine, I feel like doing fish. So I'm going to do a fish decoration with sand, with bubbles, and with scales on my fish. Okay? So the first thing, here we go. We're starting now. Okay, I'm going to check my clay to make sure everything is good before I start. And I got all this dry clay coming off, so I'm going to make sure I clean off my table. Do I have a foot on this one? No foot on this one. A foot on this one. So the dry clay gets in the way, and it will dry my clay out, so I don't want to do that. So the first thing I want to do is I should unwrap this and it should be still wet and damp. That's a good sign. Okay, and I have to have movement on my piece, so I want to make sure that I have something that creates that movement like that Ferris wheel. So my first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double check to make sure that my pot is actually still level. All right, Zach, I need you to get eye level with me on that side. Is this level this direction?
yeah, actually.
How about this way?
No.
Which side is higher, this side or that side? Okay, so I'm pressing. Okay, is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Nice.
Okay. How about now?
Looks pretty good.
Okay, I want to make sure also that right inside I have my initials and period. What number period?
3.
3. You can write it here or inside. All right, and I'm going to take my metal rib and I'm going to clean off all the dry clay off the edges. And these will cut you if you're not careful because they're just sharp. So that's why I use a table and I pull away. I don't go towards it. And I'm going to rib up all the way around. Ribbing down, sometimes you end up taking clay off and where you don't want it. Notice how I'm bending it. I'm using the straight side and I'm blending up and I'm going to go like this. This is my last chance to get it smooth. I'm going to check my lip one more time to make sure it's all good. I shouldn't have any corners on my lip and it should be the same thickness. So I'm fussing with it right now. And as long as it's still plastic, or almost leather hard, I can still make changes and improvements. That's why you want to keep it as wet as possible. I'm going to stuff all my newspaper that I can in the inside because I'm going to be working on the outside and this gives support and won't allow it to crack. I'm going to do a horizontal line for the sand because that's what's going to create the movement in my piece. And I'm going to use this. So can you see the circles on here in the banding wheel? Think of this as that like playing darts. I want to set this exactly in the middle. So it is in the middle. So I want him in the middle as close as possible. I'm going to hover over like a helicopter. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to sit down on this one. So you sit down, your elbow of your non-writing hand goes here. My finger, if I'm going to do the sand here, I want my finger here. If I'm going to do the sand down up here, I'm going to do it here. But I'm going right here at 6 o'clock. Here's my 6 o'clock. My finger's here. And if I spin this with my writing hand, I should have even pressure everywhere. This is not even pressure. This means it's not centered. So once again, you hover over, you line it up as best you can, and you go like that. You're going to take for your sketching, you use your paper clip. You're going to take it, and I'm not using the point. I'm going to ask each table a question like, what was useful about this? What helped you? Or what's a new idea? I'm not using the point. I'm going to go like this at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to drop and drag a light line all the way around. I'm not using the point because the point will make it have little clay crumbs, but if I use the side, I can get a horizontal line really easily. I'm just sketching now, and now I've got my sand. I'm going to use 12, 3, 6, and 9 because I want 4 fish, and I want all 4 fish to be complete, not run out of room. So at 6, I'm going to do a little dot where I want the fish eye. I'm going to do one at 9, and at 3, and at 12. That's where the fisheye is going to be. Now I'm going to turn it sideways. Can you still see in the mirror if I work here? So that little dot helps me sketch out with my paper clip. And I'm going to drop and drag her insides. That's another name for it. And I'm going to use that as the eye, and I'm going to go like this. So I'm making it really basic. I'm sketching it lightly. There is my fisheye right there. If you cannot see, please get up, Anne, because I know it's small. I'd rather you remember. I'm going to do my fish this way, like it's swimming. And I'm sketching it kind of lightly so that if I make a mistake, I can change it. I got one more here, fisheye. And I'm doing it light, and it's what's nice about soft plastic clay is if I screw up, I can fix it. I can just rub it out real easily. So I've got my fish on here. Okay, now I've got my sand. So I'm going to go back in now that they all fit. I have some space here. I'm going to take some of the newspaper out so I can stick my hand inside, and I'm going to drop and drag my paper clip. So the lines are going to get darker, which is what I want. I'm going to add some fins in here, or dorsal fins. And I'm dropping and dragging, and I'm going to add some more tail here. So I'm stamping and I'm dropping and dragging. I'm going to go to my next fish. This one I'm going to leave its mouth open. So I'm going to drop and drag over my sketch lines. I'm going to leave its mouth open. This one's going to have a lot of tail. So I'm going to go drop and drag, drop and drag, drop and drag. I want a different type of dorsal fin here, so I'm having fun being creative, going with the flow. Can you see the difference of what happens when you give enough pressure? Okay, now I'm going to have its mouth open. Okay, this one, I'm going to do another one like this. Ooh, I'm going to do a Zach fish. I just got inspired. I'm going to do a Zach fish.
Oh, gosh.
Zach's fish is going to be upside down.
I'm scared.
So drop and drag. It's upside down. Which way do I go? Huh? All right, now I've outlined it. Zach, you don't want to come see your fish? It's you. It's in honor of you.
I can see it.
All right, now I'm going to show you. That's all incising and stamping. I'm going to take a clicker pin, and I'm going to make the eyes a little bit bigger by stamping with the clicker pin so the eyes stand out. Okay, and notice the newspaper is still in there. And then I'm going to take the mesh. Okay, you two are not focused, making bad choices. Coach Haynes will love it. All right, I'm going to take the metal mesh, and I'm going to rub, and now it has a fish scale texture on it. So I'm using, and I'm rubbing it in. It sticks, comes across. Rubbing it in. Now if your clay's plastic, you can add these layers, and it's just kind of cool because I'm thinking 10 steps ahead, which is I want my glaze and my design to stand out. So in order to do that, I need my textures. So I have a little room right here, so I'm going to play. I'm going to put some seaweed in here. Drop and drag. So I'm incising or dropping and dragging, and I want a lot of textures. So I'm adding in. I don't use the point because if I use the point, I get little crumbs. And now I'm doing some textures on those seaweed. And now I'm going to do some bubbles on my fish. Where's Zach? Let's find Zach. His bubbles will go boom, boom. Okay. So now I've got bubbles, okay, and I've got fish and scales. I'm going to take a toothbrush. I'm trying to give you as many different options as possible. I want the sand to stand out, so I'm going to take a toothbrush and I'm going to stamp the sand all the way around, because then my seaweed has orientation, and I'm going to stamp all the way over, and my clay is still soft, so I don't have to push too hard, and I'm really giving it a texture, and I'm also getting it on my foot by accident. So I'll show you once. If your clay's still soft, it's very forgiving. You can just rub out the excess. I don't want that line there now, so I'm just going to cover it. And now I've got seaweed, fish, sand, bubbles, and scales on my fish. Okay? Does that make sense? When I'm done, I want to keep it soft. I don't want it completely dry until I'm done, like I've got it done and I've made sure I've met all the requirements. Okay, let's check. At least my fist tall. From side to side, from the lip, I'm at least that tall. So this is 3 by 3, it's taller. I've got movement with the sand. I've got contrast, and it doesn't wobble right now. Okay, so I'm okay. When I wrap it up, I'm wrapping it up upside down with wet newspaper, double back. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. All right.